Welcome back. Well, the jingling you hear in the background is Audie. He's probably going to come over for a visit. We've still got a whole bunch of snow. He's still not happy about the snow, but he's starting to forgive me for making it happen because, as we all know, I'm responsible for the weather. So today I went to Bedford. I wanted to see their sort of post-Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas stuff, and indeed they had it. Most of what I got came from Paul. So when we come back, we will get right into it. Well, I was hoping to start on the second floor today, but as always, to get to the second floor, I have to pass by that little booth, the one we've spoken about it. They always snag me with something. So let's take a look at what I spotted there. So this little booth, I'm sure you will all recall, I get some really good deals in here. And we are 25% off. I found a lot of modern Japanese porcelain. When I say modern, second half 20th century, mostly Lefton in here. And today I have found this. This is just a gorgeous little hand-painted glass plate. I believe that the rim was done at the manufacturer. There is a glassware pattern, I believe it's called Centennial, that has an identical band around it. And then it looks like somebody, let me see if I can get this against a solid surface so you can see those flowers a little better. Oh, here, floor, there we go. Beautifully hand-painted, $6. Ordinarily, I would say that might be a little high for me, but with 25% off, oh yeah. Now, let's take a look up here. This is a really pretty piece. $5. Okay, we have a mark. Looks to be British. What caught me about this is I can tell by looking at the gilding that this is an old piece, at least 100 years old. Gilding techniques have improved considerably in the last 100 years. So when you see this kind of gilding, and of course the style, you can tell this is definitely an old piece. $5, 25% off. Oh yeah, coming home with me. Well, the little glass plate is going to be a beautiful companion for another plate that I have that, in fact, I think I got at the same shop about 6 months ago. Very sweet little piece. And it'll become a tidbit tray. You'll get to see it. But the other larger plate, that beautiful hand-painted plate, that was in fact Bavarian. I'm not sure why I thought it was English. I simply wasn't able to read it in the store. I had to take it home, look at it, and yes, Bavarian. But what I'm really hoping you notice is that sort of matte gold-colored paint that they used. That was their version of gilding. You see that in pieces, rose medallion pieces, for example, that are 100 years old or more. It was just the lack of technological sophistication in creating gold-colored paint. It's, boy, once you see it, you never forget it. and it will really help you date a piece. So that is Bavarian. That's a very nice little piece, very good price. And on my way out of Bedford, after I was through shopping, I ran into the owner of that booth. She had come in, someone had said, "Oh, that's JMO." And I was like, "Oh, I know those initials." And we got to talking. She had her little granddaughter Piper with her, and she looked at me, pointed, and she said, "Oh, pink," because she spotted the hair. Very bright little child, cute as, just, I guess she's about 2. They're wonderful when they're that age. I especially like it when they hit the terrible 2s, because they're just nothing but nonstop personality. Anyway, I was really glad. Her name is Janine, by the way. I was really glad to finally get a chance to meet her. She is exactly what I pictured her to be. You know how sometimes you have a mental image of somebody, you meet them and you are 100% off base? Oh no, I was spot on. And I was really glad to get a chance to talk to her because I really like her booth. She's got such very interesting items. So once I was through being waylaid by her little stuff that just screamed at me, I went upstairs, and right away, of course, Paul's stuff started jumping out at me. And I had some pieces that I thought I filmed. Apparently I did not. In retrospect, given what showed up on the cell phone camera, I think what happened is I turned it off when I was filming and turned it on when I put it in my pocket. So I'm actually going to show you those pieces. This is a wonderful vase, $16, Chinese, second half of the 20th century. If I had to put a date on it, I would say 1980. The thing that I like about it is, here we go. Look at these handles, little fruit. And we've got a little rose here. There's a problem with this vase. No rose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some very good close-up pictures and some good measurements of this rose. And I am going to send it off to an artist and say, "Lisa, please." And it is going to be Lisa. If she has good pictures and good measurements, she's going to be able to duplicate that rose for me. And I thought we should talk about that for a minute, because you can often get wonderful items. $16, and I love it. I mean, never mind anything else. I adore this piece. This is fantastic. Maybe it will turn into a lamp. Maybe I'll leave it as a vase. Doesn't matter. I'm crazy about it. I'm keeping it. I cannot do this kind of repair, just up and create a flower. I'm not an artist. So what happens when you have a situation like this? Well, you get an artist and you say, "I would like you to make a little rose for me." Now, Lisa does this kind of work all the time. We've seen it in her polymer clay work, and all she needs to do is come up with an approximation. Remember, it's on the opposite side of the vase, so it doesn't even need to be an exact match. She needs to come up with a little rosebud of approximately the same general look. And the truth is, if she doesn't want to do a rosebud, she can do anything else. She can do a cluster of berries. Who cares, really? Because it's, like I say, on the other side of the vase. And when you're looking at something like this, it doesn't necessarily have to match. A lot of the older Chinese pieces did not have perfect matches on either side. You see that a lot. There would be a sprig of leaves and then a flower or something like that. In any event, I can easily have that little piece made. And you can too, because, you know, we have an artist. And heaven knows she's very easy to get in touch with. Is it going to be expensive? No. Lisa's work is very affordable. So I'm going to be able to get my little rosebud made. I'm going to have my vase. Maybe I will have a lamp. Who knows? I'm not through looking at it yet. But that was just a great piece. And I think that may be my Christmas present to me this year because I just don't want to give it up. And in fact, I find green to be a very easy color to deal with in terms of decorating. Green is one of my neutrals. Um, and I know that that's a little off-putting, but yeah, I use green as a neutral. That's got green. I'm happy. Another piece that I got from Paul was this, and I'm going to try to get this in the right light so you can see the gilding. There's little fine gilded lines in the veins of the leaves, and light, there we go, the light gilding across the edge. And like I say, I think if I hold it on the right light, you can see it. Pretty flow blue piece, English. This was $5. No, I'm sorry, this was $4. Great piece, not terribly, terribly old, perfect condition. I really just thought this was just a wonderful little plate. This is the sort of thing that if I wanted to throw this in my Etsy shop and say, hey, look, this is a pretty plate, I could certainly sell it. In all likelihood, it will end up as part of a Tidbit tray because I do get a lot of requests for blue. Terrific piece. So those were the two pieces that sort of missed the filming. Oops. But while I was grabbing these pieces, I stopped and got another one of Paul's pieces. So take a look. The last time I was here at Paul's little booth, I picked up something out of this cabinet, and one of our viewers requested that I pick up this salt and pepper shaker. So they are coming with me. $10, Black Americana, and I guess I'm just going to have to hope that he doesn't plan on using them as a door prize for a Klan rally. Yeah, that was actually a request. And although I'm very uncomfortable dealing with these sort of items because they can be so emotionally charged for some people, when someone says, you know, this is my thing and I would like that, of course I'll get it. Because, as I say, I don't have any philosophical objection to the idea of collecting Black Americana. If this is what you do, yes, you can come up. It's just not something that I'm really comfortable dealing in, and it's not something I want to collect. Okay, baby. But if someone is interested, if someone sees something and says, gee, will you go back and get that for me? If I'm there, if it's available, yeah, sure, why not? So the salt and pepper shakers are not going to show up in my Etsy shop. Well, they might, but it'll be a reserve listing. They're not going to show up for open sale because they do, in fact, have a buyer, and no problem in the world. As I say, just as long as he's not going to be giving them out as a door prize at a Klan meeting, I'm okay. You know, in other words, they're going to be collected for educational purposes or for whatever purpose someone collects Black Americana. They're not going into the hands of someone who sees this as an opportunity to mock people of African descent. And that is my reservation when dealing with pieces like this, that I don't want to be part of somebody saying, you know, hey, Bubba, look what I got. No, no, thank you. Just please move along. And by the way, that is not to imply that all Southerners are bigots. I've lived in the South and I've lived in Boston, and believe me, I've seen a lot of ugliness in Boston too. So next up, this is a flamingo teapot. Well, I have squished myself into another one of Paul's cubbies. And I am actually giving serious consideration to this teapot. The flamingo really screams mid-century. It's a large pot. I mean, here's my hand. $9. It's a very good price. I'm not feeling any damage on the spout. The spout, by the way, when you look at teapots, that's the first place you're going to spot damage. Really nice piece. I am currently just loaded with teapots, so I'm going to have to think about this. But I have to say, this is a real beauty. And at $9, this is a terrific price for this. I did not take that with me. I probably should have. If it's there the next time I go in, I probably will. I really am just up to my eyeballs in teapots right now, but that is a nice piece. That is just, it has some classic mid-century elements that would probably make it attractive to a certain kind of collector. I love the flamingo. I love that whole, Miami Beach in 1955 look that it has. And at $9 in really good condition, yeah, it was kind of hard to pass it up. But as I say, right now, I am so loaded with teapots. Yeah, all right, well, I am scratching you. So it's, all right, I'll scratch you more. Yeah. Like I said, we've still got snow out. He needs a lot of reassurance. Next, we passed by a booth. And this is a booth that I don't shop at. And I'm going to tell you why. This is a little booth up on the second floor of Bedford that I find usually has pretty interesting items. But I don't buy from this booth. Not just because their things are very overpriced. They are. But because there is a lot of damage, and the damage is not disclosed. I have come to think of this as the caveat emptorium, buyer beware. And it's really unfortunate because they do have interesting things, and perhaps some of their interesting things are not damaged. But this is one of the problems, and I certainly wish most owners of antique booths were clear about this. When people find a certain amount of damaged stuff in your booth that hasn't been marked as damaged, in other words, it's just there, buyer beware, people stop giving you the benefit of the doubt. In my case, I don't even really look anymore. And it's too bad because, as I say, they have interesting things. The reason I don't shop there is not so much because everything is overpriced, but because so much of it is damaged. And I don't like finding out that a piece I've picked up and I'm looking at is damaged and not marked as damaged. That's when I start to pull back and say, hey, wait a minute, is this just an oversight? Or especially in a booth like that where a lot of things are damaged, or is this just someone who is selling damaged goods and hoping people don't notice? I have no idea. The combination of overpriced and damaged is a weird one, and I have no idea how they're managing to do business. But the problem is, and this is what I wanted to point out because I know some of you do sell, in brick and mortar facilities. When customers, especially repeat customers, start to associate your shop with unmarked, damaged goods, they won't go in. And you might find that when they're in the mall and other people are looking at the stuff in your booth, they might go over as helpful consumers and just say, be careful when you shop in there. A lot of the items are damaged. And then those people are going to walk away too. It doesn't do to be putting out things you know to be damaged unless you're going to mark them as damaged. Then at least people feel like you're being honest with them. Otherwise, they are inclined to think that you're hoping they won't notice. So that's just a little FYI. Next up, I found another one of Paul's cubbies. This was some kind of cabinet. The door was closed and I had to open it. And now I'm kicking myself thinking, how many times have I walked past that cabinet and never bothered to open that door? Ooh, so take a look at what I found in there.
Well, hello. Here is another one of Paul's little cubby cabinets. This is a beautiful piece. Mid-century planter, $3, some kind of bird. We'll have to ask Lisa what kind of bird. Oh, this is coming with me. I was looking at the chocolate pots. There are 2 of them, but it's going to require a little more excavation. So, hold on, I'll be right back. All right, these are our chocolate pots. And if you'll notice, I'll get that one. Notice the handles and the little loops on the tops. Also, the shape of these chocolate pots. They appear to be almost identical in form, but the decoration is completely different. They are both Nippon. This is a style of Nippon that was very popular in the West, largely made for export, and this is in the geisha ware style. Well, I haven't seen any damage on either one of them. They are each $12. Now, at $12, that's going to put them on the high side of anything I deal with. But they're gorgeous, and they are going to find buyers. No question about that. And that's even without the cups, because these are magnificent pots.
Well, that little planter, that pheasant or that cockatoo or whatever it is, I had a very similar planter in my Etsy shop and sold it a while ago. So I know that is something that will sell. Absolutely. Very nice mid-century piece. I love the colors. It's just that wonderful sort of faded paint. Just the piece is beautiful. And somebody is going to really look at it and see the same thing I saw. But it was the chocolate pots. Audie, are you readjusting the light? Come on, baby. Come on, get out of there. He's naughty. The chocolate pots, those were the real coups. $12 each, no cups. Whoever buys them is buying them to have a chocolate pot, but they are really gorgeous pots. And I don't think there's going to be any difficulty finding someone who is interested in them because they're lovely. The geisha ware piece is just beautifully executed. And we've spoken about this before. Audie, excuse me, I need to save my light before it falls.
Come on.
Okay, we are back. The cat is with me, so he is no longer trying to pull the light down. That's what he had been doing. In fact, the light behind me is on because he turned it on. It has a floor switch, and apparently he's figured out how to operate it. As I say, we've got snow. He gets very, very needy when the weather is bad, and he'll do what he has to do to get attention. So, yeah, I know. The geisha ware, I've mentioned this before. You can find some geisha ware that is just so poorly executed. The colors are muddy. The design is just slopped on. And you just wonder why anybody bothered to deal with that. In fact, about a year ago, I had some pieces. I said I was just going to throw them away, and someone had written into the video and said, "Well, I'll take them." And I said, "You can have them." That's how bad they were. They were not even worth listing, even though the porcelain was not damaged in any way. It's just that the execution was so poor, I didn't think anybody would even be interested in it. And then you have pieces like that chocolate pot where the execution is gorgeous. So geisha ware is all over the place, from just the finest, most delicate work like that chocolate pot, right down to stuff that I sent somewhere to some guy who was willing to pay the shipping because it was better than throwing it in the trash. So it's something that you have to be careful with, but your eye will tell you, because you look at it and you say, "Oh, this is gorgeous, beautifully painted, very delicate work, etc." That's the good stuff. When you look at it and you say that a drunken 4-year-old probably painted it, that's the not so good stuff. So that's what we have for us today. There is more, and I'm going to show you that tomorrow. So stick around and we'll see you then.